Hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Okay.
Welcome to Half Past Dead Paranormal Radio, the paranormal and strange.
Like we're having now.
And we're reverbing. We are brought to you live on WCJV Digital Broadcasting out of Youngstown, New York.
The other half is Roger.
Yeah, and I'm your host,
Hank.
and Hank's your host, and
Oh, God, are we going down the rabbit hole already? Okay.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Our guest
Okay.
tonight is Chris Johansen, right?
Johansen.
Johansen. Okay. Chris?
I'm here. I'm just waiting for you
There
guys
you
to
go,
get it all
bud.
right.
How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing well. At the last note, am I supposed to speak twice like the rest of you guys are doing?
No, we are up and live, and we are ready to hear what you have to say, young man.
I have nothing running. I have everything shut.
Okay, well, mine are turned off, so it can't be mine.
All right, let me shut something off here for a minute. How about now?
All right.
It's
All right,
still doing it, but I don't know.
I don't hear anything other than you guys now. I muted the chat, but it didn't seem to do any good. I was just now. I'll just talk, and you can tell me what the chat is saying if they have anything to say. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we'll let you know.
That's a great idea.
Hey, it works, doesn't it?
It's a great idea. Okay, so somebody asked me a question.
I've been doing some research, Chris, online. And I'm finding that there is a Casper Research Center. Is that anything to do with you?
We are Casper Paranormal Research Team, originally based out of Long Island, New York, and now we're out of Long Island, New York, and Florida. There is a Casper Society, which is not me, and then there's something about Casper, Wyoming. So no, that research center is not me. Research team is.
Research team. Okay, so now we've got that straight.
My website is CasperParanormalResearch.com.
Now you do a radio show yourself. It's actually a video show, right?
We have a video show called Casper Paranormal View that's been running for 4 years. And that runs every other Monday during the summertime and every Monday during the winter.
And you do live readings on there also? People call in and you do readings on there live?
We do live readings. We do dead readings. And we do all sorts of fun. I always love that. Do you do live readings? What does that really mean, actually?
Well, I mean, on the air, when somebody calls in and you're on the air, that's to me is like a live reading or whatever, I guess.
Gotta tease you. I gotta tease you. Yes, we do live readings. I have a buddy that does tarot. I do psychic medium readings. I always chime in on everything. But yeah, we do free mini readings, as we call them, on our show every other Monday.
Have you? Okay, go ahead, Hank.
Just clarification, okay? Now, for some of us, this is going to sound a little redundant, but what are you you calling a dead reading?
I'm not. It was a joke.
Oh, just like that
You know,
movie from Jerry
like
Lewis, Hook, Line, and Sinker. Oh, good Lord.
listen. It's like the magician that says I have live animals. Well, no shit. Excuse my language. But you're not going to have a bunch of dead animals, are you? You're going to have live animals here. If they're dead animals, then I'm sure they're not going to be on the stage. So why even bother saying live animals? You know?
I can see this is going to be a fun show to do.
Yeah, we all's gonna have some fun here.
Oh, without a doubt. I'm very much into fun.
Well,
Well,
we
to do
kind
what
of
we do, you can't help but have fun.
Yes.
kick back and laugh and cut up and carry on anyway. So, yeah, you're going to fit right in.
So, guys, do me a favor. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was anybody on my show here once before?
I think I had called in. Like I think I told you that on the phone. It's been a long time ago.
Okay, so you're the one that we kicked off.
And kicked off. Probably.
I'm sorry. There must be somebody else. I apologize.
It
No, I mean,
it could have been. You could, who's that jerk? Let's get rid of him.
no, just kidding. Casper Paranormal Research Team has been around for a lot of years now. Like I said, we've had the show for 4 years. We investigate all the areas. There's a lot of haunted places on Long Island. We have some haunted stories that my partner, who just came out of the past life regression, the reason I had to be in the other room and I had to talk a little bit low is my partner here, he was doing a past life regression session. It sort of rhymes. That sounds cute. But anyway, he was doing a past life regression session in the other room, so I wanted to be a little quiet. He just came out. He now looks Oriental to me. It's kind of funny. I guess he was Asian in his last life. I don't know. He looks much different. But anyway, we're going to hear how that went. If you're interested in hearing about that and about some of our investigations. We've done a lot of investigations, a lot of places that have been abandoned for over 20 years, psychiatric centers, things like that. So we've been pretty much every place on Long Island that's been haunted.
I wanted to ask you, when we did the show last week, we had some things going on in the background. Voices that you couldn't account for, giggles, stuff like that, none of us could claim that was any of us. So my question to you is, at any time ever doing your show, did you have anything like that happen?
Have we had any EVP type of thing happen when we were doing our show?
During the show?
By the way, this is my partner Angelo, who's actually visiting from New York. He's the New York
Angelo.
Hello, how are you?
When you listen to him, you'll understand that he's from New York.
You'll see why.
He's going to answer that question. He's going to take over for 2 minutes and answer the question about the EVPs in the show and stuff like that. Have we encountered anything paranormal during our show? Right.
Actually, there's been sometimes, we'll hear clicking and clanging or something happening, and I always pick that up. Chris doesn't. Just, to him, everything is paranormal, or don't worry about it. But I hear all these little faint noises and somebody touching me. So yeah, things do actually happen. I actually see, even when we Skype, in his audio, I get faint voices coming over it. So whatever's with him at the time is picked up over his audio, transmitted to me. So I do hear it.
Well, we had that happen last week, and, that's the first time that I can recall where actually we would hear voices in the background, and there was a couple times somebody giggled, and I guess they thought we were funny, but anyway,
Yeah, it wasn't an adult giggle either.
No, it
That's
sounded like a
what
child.
caught us by surprise. Yeah.
A lot of times that's what you're going to get. You're going to get the child voice giggling. But then,
You have
well, that's what you're going to get because mostly that's who the child is. The people that want to play the games, and they won't do any harm. They just want to let you know that they're there.
Right. And it did sound like a little girl laughing, giggling.
this
We
will
did
prove
an
interesting in the
investigation.
future.
We did an investigation at a school, and it must have been the spirits that were there prior to the school being built. And these two kids, it was a boy and a girl, were trapped there. There was this evil spirit holding them against their will. And it was so strong that we couldn't release the bad spirit to let these kids, go free. And a friend of ours introduced us to the school, and she said she has a gift also. She said every time she would go into that school, this little girl would come and grab her leg, like being totally scared how a little kid grabs their mother's leg. That's exactly what would happen.
Well,
That
now,
is that's reassuring that we're not the only ones that are getting that. But yet at the same time, people who aren't experienced in that can be rather scary.
yes, it can. Now, I have to ask Chris, when we talked on the phone, you were talking about crossing people over to where? So you don't agree that a spirit can be crossed over?
Oh, no, without a doubt, it can be. You get the right person doing it, yes, it definitely can be.
Okay, I was under the assumption that you didn't believe in that or something, the way you said it, but
Yeah, well, we kind of lost connection real quick, and we had to go back into a better Wi-Fi area.
okay, yeah, because I firmly believe that they can be crossed over,
Oh, yes, without a doubt they can.
and
And Chris has
I
actually crossed over quite a few of them.
I would think that would be a part of our job as researchers and investigators to help those that we could.
Oh, absolutely,
Well,
100%.
Roger,
Listen,
you get
wait, I'm going to say something, okay? Um,
go for it.
this is Chris, by the way. I'm the loudmouth.
Yes, Chris.
Okay, so listen, here's the deal. 90% of investigations, 90% of the paranormal is psychosis. It's made up. It's not made up on purpose, but it's somebody's head. The things that are haunted, the drawers that are opening, things like that. Guys, that's not real. I'm telling you right now, we've gone to how many investigations where people
Doors slamming, yeah, the people.
there's nothing there, dude. Okay, stop the hallucinogenic drugs, and maybe that stuff will end. But I don't really believe 90% of the hauntings are due by people who passed over. I think it's more of a psychological issue that people may have. And you know how, like, you go to bed and when you turn off the light, you see something in the corner, then you turn it on, you only find it to be a jacket sitting on top of a chair. And
Right.
your mind plays games with you. Your mind is a powerful thing. So everybody that thinks that they think that your house is haunted, take this second guess. Wonder why the pipes are making noises. Wonder why your house is creaking. It is not always paranormal. Matter of fact, most of the time it's not. Sorry to
And
burst the bubble.
that's one of the things that Hank and I both, have tried to put out there is that, not every investigation that you get called out on is going to be an actual haunting or you're going to get actual evidence because there's really nothing going on except banging pipes and, loose pipes,
Extre-
whatever, stuff like that,
extreme EMF fields. A lot of
Right,
places
right.
where my team has gone in, we have found that there was a lot of old wiring, and there was some clock radios that just had a lot of EMF, and they had it right there by their head where they sleep.
Exactly.
They moved that, and a lot of the issues that they were having were done away with. That's why I believe we're not ghost hunters. We're paranormal investigators, because we have to do the investigation, and then before we cross anybody over, we might be dislodging someone who has every right to be there. They're not harming anybody.
Listen,
and they may be helping. Yeah.
If you go to, if you actually go to my website at CasperParanormalResearch.com, go to videos. We did an investigation once. I think it's called I don't know if it's a Save one. No, I don't think it's Save Out. It's Save was two. But there is one on there.
Where the grandfather was there.
Well, they wanted the house cleansed and rid of this spirit that's in there. After I went in there and Angela went in there, of course, what you do is your base reading to see what your EMF, what you have, and find out if it is old wiring, if it is, the electromagnetic fields that are natural in the house, because we're not going to shut off everybody's breakers, so they have to be, the dead time at 2 o'clock in the morning. Really, ghosts are out all the time. They don't have a watch, saying, hey, I'm going to bed now, or, oh, gee, it's 2 o'clock, time to haunt everybody. It doesn't really work that way. That's just for drama, for TV. But I will say, we were going to cleanse his house, and then I of course, me being a psychic medium, I kind of did a mini reading for myself and this person, and ended up being a family member. And I had actually, people, do you really want to get rid of this person? And they're like, no, we don't. I'm like, all right, so then we're done here. Don't get rid of the person, because the person's not bad. Why do you want to get rid of an entity or an energy, if you want to say, that's in your house? That's a good energy. Why would you want to do that? It only helps you. It doesn't hurt you.
That's the point exactly that I'm getting at. Someone had wanted us to come in and help with an investigation. So I brought my team in. Oh, well, I'm going to bring a few friends over too. Okay, fine. Here's how we're going to work together. Next thing I know, we're setting up to do an actual investigation, and they're doing the drumming and saging ceremonies. I go, what on God's green earth are you doing? We're cleansing. It's like, no, you got to first find out what we're dealing with before you do the cleansing. Come to find out, it was the woman's husband trying to tell her he's working on whatever financial problems they had from the other side.
Oh, and
he's trying to reassure her. Why are you going to cleanse something that doesn't need to be?
I agree.
Find the answers first.
And that is why, and not to say that every paranormal team should have a psychic medium on staff, but it is always helpful to have a psychic medium on staff, because they have it in their head. No meter is really going to pull it out than a psychic medium. The EMFs are kind of what I rely on, but the voice recording, the EVPs, those are the two things I think are the most important.
Spirit box.
Well, no, you know what? We can disagree over here, on some things. And first of all, if you want to talk about the ovulus, do me a favor. Anybody that has an ovulus, you can just throw it in the garbage. Sorry, did I say that out loud? I didn't mean to.
Did you say an audience?
An ovulus.
An ovulus.
Oh.
If you want to buy something that has pre-recorded words on
about those.
If you want to buy something that has pre-recording things on it, and it actually comes out every once in a while, and I'm going to tell you right now, somebody that's listening right now has a John that's related to them, and that John has passed, and John is saying hello. Well, you know what? That's profiling. And that is, the chances are that the amount of people that are listening, somebody does have a John that passed, and they're saying right now, oh my God, that's me. Oh my God. Well, you know what? That's what the ovulus does. It's going to throw things out there. I really don't believe. I've heard this thing work 1,000 times. I've heard it fail 1,000 times. I've heard it succeed maybe 3 or 4, which was a coincidence, I think. I'm a very skeptical paranormal investigator. I'm not a ghost hunter like you say. I'm a paranormal investigator. Therefore, I'm supposed to be skeptical. I'm supposed to say, hey, why is this not? If you go onto my website, you're going to see I actually put on YouTube my debunkings of what we found not to be true. I debunked my own paranormal investigation.
I find a real investigator will be harder on their evidence than anyone else. As for me, I'm an empath. And yes, I am an empath. I also have, Toby, you listening? I also have my psychic medium, Toby, who is also here listening into the show, and he's also signed in. So, and I was bloody fortunate to get him on board. We've encountered a lot more things holding his truck up in the air. I'm commenting on a friend that Data had said, yes, I know you meant Toby. Something going on with this pickup truck.
If I go on the chat room, it double voices me. I can't mute the chat. I'm trying to.
Yeah, we're trying to work that out.
You have to turn
we're trying
the
to work
off
through that.
in your chat room.
Yeah, I'm trying to mute the chat. I think I did, but we'll see. We'll see if I have.
When you go in.
Looking for the button.
I thought he had done that already.
I'm looking for the...
There's what looks like a little record player in a box there to the left.
It shows like somebody with a microphone.
Right.
And mine looks like a record.
It has a play and stop button, and you just click to stop it.
I think I did it, but we'll see. If I hear myself, then I know that I didn't do it. And then now, I guess I did because I'm not hearing myself, and now I'm on chat. Okay, perfect. I have Carrie on, I have Zelda on, I have Terry on. These are the people that come onto my show on a regular basis.
And I just saw you come on. I just saw you come on too, Chris.
Yes. So thank you for my team always coming on. These are the people that come to my show often, pretty much every show.
Did you want to go back to
wait? What?
Katie's and tell them the high EMF readings there?
Well, we don't want to mention any names,
Okay.
but I'm going to tell you we went to a very popular restaurant in Long Island, or on Long Island.
Which is big for paranormal investigations.
You know, Paranormal State or the paranormal people went there, and they all say it's haunted. Well, let me tell you something.
You go in the basement of this place, there's an electrical wire running overhead. The EMFs from this wire, anybody would have hallucinations. It was incredibly high.
Yeah, so, and... that little guy that's handing out those extra pills when you go down the stairs. I don't know what those pills are, but they really make me feel good. But no, seriously, that place is known to be haunted. Of course, they want people to come there for that. It's an attraction. So people play into it. We actually know somebody that does readings in a popular restaurant, who plays it up that it's haunted. Well, guess what? I don't believe it is.
And they say stuff is falling off the shelves. It's right next to the railroad tracks. Stuff's vibrating off the shelves.
Yeah, and I live in a very spiritual kind of house, and a very active house as far as paranormal is concerned. I've never had a drawer open. I've had a light turn on and off. That is the easiest way for them to communicate. Matter of fact, Carrie actually just brought that up coincidentally. Carrie, by the way, if you can see her in chat, her daughter passed away. I did a reading for Carrie, and her daughter came through like big time, many times, and she actually on our show. if you look on there, on our show, it came on right there. And it was amazing that I said, Carrie, your mom's here. She wants to know if you're with us today. And boom, boom, boom. So if you ever done an investigation with a flashlight, a simple mag light will do. It really does work. I don't know if you guys use that as a tool, but it is an outstanding tool.
It works. I've seen it work, but I have a mag light, and I've never been able to make that work. I have no clue. What I do, I have an EVS. It's a EVP field processor. I plug it into my digital recorder, and it amplifies the EVPs.
Okay, well, I want off the air, call me, and I'll show you, I'll tell you exactly how to use it, or Skype me, and I'll show you how exactly to use the flashlight.
Oh, Ed uses it very well. My co-founder.
But you can't.
But it doesn't work for me. He uses the rods. Not so much for me.
Oh, I see. The dowsing rods? Actually, they work pretty well.
We tried that last time.
Yeah, I think they work very well. I will tell you that I don't necessarily believe in a lot of the hauntings that people say. We've been to we've been to a lot of famous hauntings in Long Island. And yeah, so we found some aberrations, we found energy, we found EVP. The orb thing is always very controversial. I don't necessarily know if I believe in orbs anymore. In the beginning I had, but you know what?
Touching that.
The more I look at these things, the more I'm like, okay, you need to know the moisture, you need to know the humidity, you need to know about dust, you need to know about the particles that are in the air, you need to know about the flies when you take a picture, that it'll actually leave a streak. So there's a lot of things that people don't know. Okay? If anybody does have a question for me, though, psychic medium question, paranormal question, you can call me at 716-745-4266.
I posted that already.
I know. How do you like that? That was pretty good, right?
Okay, I got to break in here and give the call letters real quick. We're on WCJV Digital Broadcasting out of Youngstown, New York, folks.
That was very good. You sounded very professional.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Carrie, if you want to call in to 716-745-4266, tell them about your experience regarding that reading. You can do that too, so the other people that are listening can hear that it was a very cool experience. I may not be telling it it did not, how should I say it? It would impact Carrie more so or differently than it would impact me. When I do a reading, I sort of go into this sort of meditative state that when the reading's done, I don't remember it. That's why I kind of record my readings.
Normally you won't.
And yeah, I don't remember it. And honestly, I'm one of the few psychic mediums that don't meditate at all. I don't meditate. I'm not one of those towel-wearing gypsy kind of psychic mediums. I'm a regular guy that wears jeans, and I go and do readings, and that's what I do. I do it for a living. You know, most of them are part-time people, but this is what I do as a full-time job. You know, and I gotta say, I'm pretty proud of that. That there's not a lot of people that can do that, but I enjoy it very, very much. And it's really becoming, the two are joining together more so as time goes on. It's the psychic medium and the paranormal. Would you like to sit down? No. Does anybody have a question for me or Angelo?
What do you guys think about shadow people?
That is a good question. I actually have one that stays here in this room. It's been seen by my wife. I've never seen it yet, but she woke up and it was standing in the corner over here, and there's no jacket hanging on a thing or anything over there, so it couldn't have been the eyes playing tricks or anything like that. She said she laid there for a minute and watched just to make sure she wasn't seeing things. And she wouldn't even sleep in this room after that.
Have you captured any on?
Wait, I need to interrupt. You're saying that your wife won't sleep with you anymore?
No, she sleeps on the couch in the other room.
Okay, that there's counseling for that, just so you know.
Yeah.
Just helping you out there. Just helping you out, but, you know.
Yeah, it's called Get Rid of the Shadow Guy.
I will tell you, there was a question if I have ever not had a connection with somebody during a reading, and the question is yes. Out of say 200 people, it might be 2 people that I don't have a connection with. One of them sat across from me in the readings room here that we're in right now, and he was arrogant. You know, like I would say something to him, and I'm not profiling him. I don't profile. I'm real. I don't. You know, I don't know if you like cursing on here, but I don't curse on my show. But I don't lie about it. And every time I said something, he's like, "Well, aren't you supposed to know? You're the second. Aren't you supposed to?" So I said, "Sir, you're being very negative. You know, why don't you just keep open?" I'm not negative. I'm very positive. I came in here. I said, "Sir, you can leave now." I kicked him out. So I kicked him out of the house. I kicked him out of my readings room here, which is my studio is in the house. And he's like, "Well, why do I have to leave?" I said, "Because you're a negative energy. I don't deal with negative energies." And I never heard from the guy again, and I'm glad I didn't. I don't need that business. I don't want negative energy. You know.
Well, now there are people who will intentionally go out of their way to have you do a reading just so they can try to disprove that you do what you do.
Oh, I know that. I have it all the time. I mean, but I can tell when they're doing that. I'm not stupid, you know. The energy alone shows that they're doing that. I pick it up. It's a bad energy, you know. I don't need you to do that to me. Well, you know, I've had people call me and say, "Well, give me a sample." I said, "Really? Well, when you go to the doctors, they give you a sample of how well he's a doctor." I don't understand. You know, you want a sample. No, sorry. Go to somebody else. Go to one of the fake people. I was going to say tarot card reader, but that's not fair to the tarot card readers that are out there. But you know that's what people do. People call me up. Can you just answer one question for me? Now, all the people that I've done readings for, I talk about, by the way. That's why I have my own show. But the people that are on my show and the people that I've read that are on this chat right now know that if you did a reading with me, you'll always be able to call me and ask me a question at no charge. I mean, for the rest of your life. I don't care. And I don't charge them. If they want a formal reading, they will. And they don't ever really take advantage of it. And I always keep myself open. I don't know any other psychic medium that does that, but I know that I do. And I always keep myself open to my clients, no matter what. Sorry, your turn.
That's a good thing. A lot of people don't, as you said. You know, I guess they had this idea that, hey, you know, I made some money off of this person, so if they call back to ask me another question, you know, I'm gonna charge them again. I'm gonna make all the money off this person I can.
Yeah, and you know what? That's not the way it works. See, I was given a gift to help people. So I do. Matter of fact, I've had people who were going to commit suicide. They call me all hours of the day, all hours of the night. Angelo, at one point, I was too busy to be able to do something. My partner, Angelo, who is sort of an empath, and he does tarot as well, but he had to call her, calm her down until I got to her to be able to talk to her. And she was going to end her life. She lost her daughter. She lost her granddaughter. You know, there's a lot of tragic things out there. People think, "Oh, gee, I wish I was a psychic medium." Really, dude? Well, it's really not. At times when you have to deal with that kind of death, it's not all what it's cracked up to be. By the way, if you ever want a reading from me, you can always call 631-838-2166, and that's how you can get in touch with me. That is my number. I answer it. I talk to you. And you can decide whether or not you want a reading from me after I talk to you, or you can just go to my website. Sorry.
Okay.
Did I do a
What is? It sound like somebody pecking on the microphone again.
a pecker on a microphone?
I
You
was
know,
gonna say,
like
go
when
ahead,
somebody
Roger.
taps on their microphone and it goes toot 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 toot.
Like you're trying to get attention.
Yeah.
Like that?
Testing.
I'm here.
Did y'all not hear that? Or was it just me?
It was just you. Really, the way you're supposed to do this, just so you guys know, I don't know how long you've been doing it, 2 glasses of wine are pretty much all you should have before the show. Just saying.
Oh, good. I'll just go ahead and get on my Yukon jacket. What the heck? We just go ahead and party on with this.
Works just as well.
Yeah, I know, Dita. I heard it too, but that's okay.
So, well, anyway, I see that Carrie's typing. She was supposed to call, but and Chris will call you if he thinks something is up.
I
But that
can't
is
get my
actually
chat room up, so I can't see what's going on.
well. I got to tell you a story regarding that as well. And I know this isn't the paranormal part, but paranormal and psychics and mediums all go together. And after that, I want to touch on the Ouija board. But I do want to I want to say that even if one of my clients who I read 3, 4, 5 months ago, if something comes to me, I'll call them and say, hey, listen, something came up about your cars. And I remember this. Her name is Laura. And I read Laura, and I said to her, I called her up and I said, it keeps on haunting me, no pun intended, but it keeps on haunting me that you need to go check your cars. Something is going on with your cars. It has to do with paperwork. It has to do with it. Well, every one of her cars inspections were due that day. Were due. That month they needed to be, all the inspections needed to be done. So I just saved her a ton of money so she didn't get tickets. But I didn't know. I don't know how I did that. I don't know how I did that. She went outside, she checked out her cars, and it found out that all her car inspections, I don't know if everybody has inspections in their states, but the inspection, you have to have an inspection for your car in New York. They all needed to be, right. And Zelda here, I have contacted her with something about a tire on a car. And
Yeah, that's what Zelda said.
Yeah, that issue came true as well. So that's just the way it works. I don't know why. I don't know how it works. I don't pretend to understand how this works, but I know it does, which is pretty cool.
It is. It's of course Hank. Hank does his thing. I do my thing, and the way it works for me usually is in spurts, like every so often, or I can be looking at a picture or talking about somebody and something will come up. And, the way I look at it is it's not me. It comes from somewhere, but I have no clue where it comes from.
Yeah, I don't either. And, I don't think I want to. It doesn't matter to me where it comes from as long as it keeps on coming, I enjoy it. I love doing it, and I love helping people. That's what it's about. Helping people is what it's about. It's such a cool thing to bring closure. Matter of fact, I did a reading to a relative of yours that I did a closure to. Correct?
Yes, you did. I didn't give him any information on this person. It was a cousin of mine that had passed away, and she was just so distraught. We called Chris, and Chris, his name was Phil, but everybody knew him as Philip. And I knew him as Phil. So with Chris talking to her, he says, well, Phil this and Phil that. So I was like, nobody knew him as Phil but me. So it was pretty wild that he got the name correctly and everything about selling a house and paperwork and all came true. So Chris hit it right on the head.
And I'll tell you, she wrote a testimonial, and she said it said on there, matter of fact, let's see. I'm just going to. I wish I can do this. Hang out. Be patient, guys. Dead air. Angelo, talk quick.
Have you guys witnessed any apparitions?
Are you talking about us
Yeah,
as teams?
yeah, yeah.
Yo, we have apparitions. We've got our EVPs. Do we get them all the time? No, you don't get them all the time. Those are why we refer to them as holy grails, because we get them and we treasure them.
I've witnessed quite a few of myself. I was actually working at a relative's house that had passed away, and her favorite place was in the attic. Why, I don't know, but I was working at the base of the stairs. I was a carpenter during the day. And looking up in the attic, I see her floating around in the dress that she was buried in. That was pretty rough.
Why they do the things they do, that's part of what intrigues me, what drives me as an investigator. Why are things going on the way they are? Like you touched on the subject of, do we see or have we experienced the shadow people? I've discussed with Roger and my team members, being from an esoteric background, I was a Kabbalist, and then, yes, I converted over to becoming a Wiccan, and that's another story altogether. I have my views. There's someone who has not at any point thought, taught, or was taught to understand what the light is, and they're in these lower levels of the astral.
Funny, I was 2 months ago. I was on the main highway by my house, and I was the only one on this highway during the day, and I see this full-figured shadow person walking across the highway. I was like stunned. I was like, "Did I really see that?" Then, about a couple hundred feet up the road was a bad car accident. So the only thing I can figure is the spirit of this guy was lost.
Or you were drunk.
Well,
Yeah. But I like, I don't know. Let's talk about the Ouija board for 1 second. All right, everybody needs to relax about that a little bit. I think. First of all, if you Google who made the Ouija board, it was a man, and it was for a game. It's a game. It's a game, guys. It's a game. Okay. I played the game 1,000 times. So the Ouija board is a game. If you want to talk about it being a portal, well, anything that's a portal. This coffee cup can be a portal if you want. Anything can be a portal if you want to make it into a portal. The Ouija board, I believe, I know there are people out there that will swear that I'm wrong and that I'm an idiot. Well, it's no more of a portal than anything else that you make into a portal. Negative is negative, positive is positive. You can make yourself ill and die, or you can make yourself better and live. That's just the way it is. You can will anything to happen. So the Ouija board, you don't have to necessarily break up into 4 pieces and put it into 4 different houses. You could just throw it into the garbage pail. You don't want it anymore. Or you can sell it to somebody at a garage sale. So I'm just telling you that I don't personally think that the Ouija board is an evil thing. It doesn't say it anywhere on the internet other than a made-up thing. It doesn't say that you're not supposed to use the Ouija board in the Bible. I don't see it in there. I don't see it. And I do please look it up, guys, and look it up. Who made the Ouija board? And you're going to find out it was just made as a game. Your thoughts on that? Am I taking over this show? Is that what I'm doing? I didn't mean to do that.
This long?
No, I think they hung up on us.
No one's hung up. We're here. We're listening to you.
You haven't thought.
We're still trying to get Roger into the chat room.
You can disagree with me, by the way, about the Ouija board, but I'm going to tell you.
I'm trying to.
I had my grandmother. Now, yes, I'm telling tales again. Out of class. I am a 4th generation Wiccan. By any other name, a rose is just as sweet. My grandmother, for many years, as far back as I can remember, not only was she scrying with a mirror, but she had no problems with her Ouija board. It goes to the fact people need to be aware. Just like when a Wiccan opens a circle, you have to close that circle. When you open a session, you have to make sure that session is closed.
Well,
period.
Well, I must say the Jumanji is a really cool show. If I had a Jumanji board, though, I would kind of like feel a little bit different. But the Ouija board, I never closed a session, by the way, just so you know. If I got bored, I just like throw it into my closet. And I will tell you, if you truly believe that the Ouija board is bad, and people told you that it was bad, then it will be bad if you truly believe. Just like the stones that I have sitting around here as I look. If you don't believe in any of the stones, they're nothing but a rock. If you do believe they're going to do something for you, then they will cure you and help you with anxiety, with
I hear you playing with them. I hear you playing with them. Yeah.
I'm not playing with my stones.
And that's exactly the point that I'm trying to make at here is the fact that I posted this question. I really did, and it's kind of, I've had some interesting responses from it. I had posted, if a Ouija board is so bad, then what is the difference when we use a recorder for an EVP, when we use dowsing rods, when we use pendulums for all these other works that we do? Aren't we doing the same thing? What's the difference?
There is none. Matter of fact,
exactly.
The pendulum is the same thing as a Ouija board, really. You're inviting a spirit to communicate with you and to take control of a pendulum to give you an answer. It's the same exact thing. I don't see anybody saying that the pendulum is evil. They're saying the Ouija board is evil. Well, they're the same exact thing. Seances, you're inviting a spirit to come in and communicate with you. Everybody says, you know what? I don't see anybody saying it's evil. People throw seances all the time. I used to do them when I was a kid all the time. I grew up in a family, I have generations of people, psychics and stuff in my family. I grew up with this kind of stuff, and it was never taboo in my family to do any of this. Okay, your turn.
My co-founder was here, and we were having problems with the mic. Speakers were doing great, but the mic that I had, and I told him to make sure that he was here next week, because he enjoys listening to the show too. Ed?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was here, and I had to put the headset on to communicate, and he more or less left.
Yeah. But why?
Say?
Why did he leave?
Never said. Never said.
All right.
Just, I'm heading for the barn. I'll see ya. It's like, dude, come on.
Well,
I mean,
So tell me something. Anybody out there that's listening, have you been? Here's another thing. This is what I love. Somebody that claims that they've been mauled, scratched, touched by an entity. I have not yet to be touched by an entity. I'm waiting to be touched by an entity. Like I stand there in the middle of the cemetery and say, "Touch me." Almost got arrested for that, but I don't think that. I don't know. You said you've been Christina. You said Christina got pushed down. Yeah. She was on the floor. I turned around. One of our investigators were on the floor. It doesn't happen to me. Why doesn't it happen to me? I want to be touched.
They don't like you.
No, what the difference is,
I'm
Here's the
just
difference,
kidding.
and I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you what the difference is. The difference is that I don't believe that they can bother me. I don't believe that they have the ability to hurt me. I don't believe that they have the energy. So I put up this wall because I've been doing this since I'm 8 years old. So I put up this wall that I know that these people are not going to be able to hurt me. I don't believe in the devil. I don't believe things like that. And Angela will prove it to you because we did this experiment, and you can elaborate on it more. But they will not be able to hurt me because I know they can't. People that will give into negativity will experience negativity. People that don't believe in negativity, then won't experience it. And that's that easy. Angela, tell them the story we had.
Hey,
What's that?
Hank,
Yes.
I'm gonna be out for a minute. I got to reboot this thing. I'm having trouble with stuff, so I'm gonna
Good
reboot
Lord.
and come back.
Hey, I got a
Just
way of
let-
fixing that for you.
Just letting y'all know. So,
I got a way of fixing that for you, bud.
A
what's
hammer.
that?
It's called 2
Sledgehammer?
sticks of dynamite.
Ah.
Thermite. Get a bigger
Okay,
hammer.
folks, I'll be
Anyway.
back in a
All right, you check
couple
out and then
minutes.
come back in, okay? Yeah, I love that. Even a blind nut can find a blind nut can find a squirrel every now and then. Oh no, you don't have dyslexia, Hank. Oh jeez. No, I have been out in the cemeteries, and I have invited them, but to touch me, to confirm that they're there. And many of them have, and some of them have laughed at me, although I didn't offer them money to touch me like you did.
No, that was
Gotcha,
that
Chris.
was in that was in a
Chris.
different part of the street. But no, Angela, I want Angela to tell the story. I want Angela to tell the story, what happened in the cemetery, to kind of give you an idea of what happens when we do an investigation. Go ahead.
I got cemetery stories for you, brother.
We
I
have,
got cemetery
this is a good one. We did and I was going to put it in, we were a Jewish cemetery on Long Island, and huge headstones. So we have all our equipment, all our detectors, ghost detectors, EMF detectors, everything on top of the tombstone. And things going crazy every time I go near it, and every time Chris goes near it, nothing. So he taught me how to control. You know, me being a big Italian, I would fight with the spirit, and you don't do that. He says you have to put up a wall in your mind against the bad entities, and I did that, and they went away.
Right. So what Angela was doing is he was confronting in a more negative way, which antagonizes things. Just like, for instance, a guy's driving by and he cuts you off, and or you cut him off by mistake, or whatever. One of you give each other the finger. If the other person gives a finger, you're antagonizing.
Yeah,
If you just wave to them, then it sort of diffuses the situation. So what I do is I diffuse the situation. I walk up to them knowing they're not going to bother me. I don't walk up to them and say, with a confrontational way. I walk
you
up.
bloody moron. Yeah.
I walk up. First of all, you don't antagonize anything like that. You just walk up knowing that they can't hurt you, and they won't hurt you. They can't. It just doesn't work that way. And listen, as far as these exorcisms and people's heads spinning around and projectile vomiting, you know what? I will pay anybody a lot of money. Just tell me when you're going to have your head spin around and projectile vomit. I will be there in a moment's notice to film it. I want to see it because I don't believe it. Sorry.
We know The Exorcist was sensationalism and drama, and the world can be made of sugar and cream and also good nice things. Come on, that's what people are paid to do, because people want to be scared out of their minds.
A lot of that movie, though, was based on supposedly true facts, minus the head spinning. But the projectile vomiting, the speaking in different tongues, So if you go back and you research this through the Catholic Church, it will show that that movie was based on a true story.
Now, something that's based on a fairly true story, but really not real. They're coming out with the Amityville Horror House, another movie.
Yeah.
It's a new movie about the Amityville. And this is close to Angelo and my house, where we live. Angelo happens to have some connections there. Now they're coming out with a whole new take on that house. They're making a new movie. It's coming out in 2015.
Which house is this again?
Amityville Horror House.
It's called the Amityville Horror House.
Good God. Again?
Yep, they're coming out with a new movie about it. And it's Angelo, what's your take on the Amityville Horror?
Well, actually, my brother-in-law knew the guy, DeFeo, and the movie is nothing what happened in real life. So the guy was just on drugs. That was basically it.
As I said before,
Yeah.
you know,
Look,
I did have a lady call up. She was in Georgia. Her kids were here in Florida. She said that the kids kept on calling her, saying that the house was haunted. I went there as soon as I walked in. There were at least 30 liquor bottles all over the place, weed in the ashtrays, things like that. I looked, I said, who's drinking? Who's this? Who's that? I did an hour reading. I called the lady. I said, listen, you don't have a haunting in the house. You have some troubled kids. If I were you, I would take care of the situation because there was nothing wrong. The kids were like hallucinating with different things that they were thinking.
You got to stop and think, what are people thinking when they come up with something like that? I mean, yes, I've never come across in my investigations with an actual possession. Yes, there were some dark spirits.
No, negative energy. Negative energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, negative energy. That's what I believe in. That's what I believe in, negative energy. Some people may call that negative energy a dark spirit or a devil or whatever. I call it a negative energy. You get a positive energy and you get a negative energy. Negative energy. Listen, if Uncle George was a bastard when he died, when he was alive, he's going to be a bastard when he died.
That's what I always said.
So a matter of fact, Linda, who I read, she said, when you did a reading for me, it's almost like I was talking to my husband directly because it's exactly the mannerisms and everything come out because I'm watching a movie of the individual that is
Hey,
passed.
Chris.
Yes, sir. 2
minutes to the end of the hour, so if you want to give links out and all that stuff, it's a good time to do it.
Okay. You guys can reach me at CasperParanormalResearch.com. And if you would like a reading by me, it is 631-838-2166. I work 7 days a week, but I go to bed like 9:30, so it ends at like usually 7. But seriously, that's what I do. I really, that's all I need to plug. It's just my website and my telephone number. You guys want me, I'm here. I would like to talk to you guys further on the Skype sessions and EVPs and stuff like that. We had some great, our old site had some great pictures.
Yeah.
But it was great talking to you guys.
Well, we enjoyed having you. It's been a lot of fun. And
Well, blessing, Chris. Many bright blessings.
And you have a wonderful night. And your friend there, I'm bad with names. I'm sorry.
His name is Angelo.
Angelo. Glad to have you on with us, Angelo.
Glad to be here.
All right, guys. You have a great night.
We're gonna work on it, bro. We're
gonna make an attempt anyway.
Yeah,
Very good.
2 drinks to a great night.
Thanks for having me on. Talk to you soon.
Roger
okay,
that.
folks. This is WCJB Digital Broadcasting, Youngstown, New York. We are now live for open mic. Okay, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to do the open mic.
You are listening to WCJV Digital Broadcasting, Youngstown, New York.
Okay, everybody, we're back again. This portion is open mic. Anybody with a paranormal or strange experience, feel free to call in, tell us all about it.
After all, we're
And
listening.
I don't have a chat room, so I can't see you, but
Don't worry, I got that. I got that base covered. Not a problem.
okay, good deal.
I canned 9 quarts of tomatoes yesterday. And you're going to send me any, Dita?
Where's our man Toby? He ain't called in yet.
Well, he's been busy working on his truck, holding it up, I guess. I don't know.
Well, how about
Hey,
that?
I want to know. Oh, hey, I want to know the reason for a thermal cam. That's what
A
Toby
thermal
asked.
cam. Yeah, and people use them for different reasons. But to me it's
Thermal camera. Okay.
if a spirit sits in a chair, like you've seen this on Ghost Hunters, I'm sure. If a spirit has sat in a chair or is sitting in a chair, they assume that spirit puts off some heat.
Negative.
Okay,
The
that's
lack
what
of
I
heat.
would have thought, but I would have thought the absolute reverse, that it would have showed a cold spot.
That's negative heat. Okay.
Yeah, negative heat. There you go. That's where you touch it and it don't burn you. Uh, anyway, it's believed that it would actually show figures where you normally would not see. And of course, there's been like more than one episode of Ghost Hunters where they actually showed like they were pointing the camera out toward a fence, and then the guys were out there investigating in the orchard or something, and it showed like these two figures walking down by the fence row that wasn't there, but it showed up as red outlines of like figures, walking.
Now, hold on, Roger. Hold on. You opened that door. Now, let's just bypass Ghost Hunters here a little bit. Okay? The GAC boys. Okay? And then the Once Upon a Time in a Land Far, Far Away, Everyday Paranormal. Okay? They had some little TV show going on. When they used a thermal camera, a FLIR, whatever, they had the outlines in blue.
Yeah.
They were cooler than the ambient atmosphere.
Caller, you're on the air.
It's just me, folks.
It's
It's
just
just me,
me.
Toby.
It's Toby.
It's just me, folks. Hello, Toby.
Hello. Yeah, my arms are really tired holding up that Durango, man.
Gina
Doing
will
bench
love
presses
that.
with them. Yeah, I know.
True story. I had a friend
Do
one
I-
time that was working underneath his car, and he had it up on the car ramps or whatever, and somehow
Dude,
it got off the ramps and it came down, and he had his arms, like his forearms, up, and he held that car off of himself.
Ooh.
that's pure adrenaline. That's pure adrenaline.
You're
Yeah.
telling me. You're telling me. And he
So
actually he did that. He held that car off of himself until somebody got there to, get a jack under it to where he could get out.
And now that was somebody who was tired.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. Well, we're getting this thing kicked off pretty good here. Johnny's got an interesting question here. All right. Actually, basically has two of them, but he's got a real good one here.
Yeah, I got an answer for
black-eyed
that.
chil-
Guys,
black-eyed
by the way, I
children.
can't see y'all, so
The black-eyed children.
yes, very interesting.
I got an answer for that one. For
Okay.
Johnny.
Go for it.
Okay. Well, let's see here. The thoughts on it. Well, there's been stories, confirmations of it. We had one. Hank knows about this. We got a history of it here in Tacoma, in Point Defiance, of a child that was riding a bike, and she would appear with either red or no eyes, black eyes. Now, I generally, a lot of times for me, in my personal interpretation of it, is either something tragic happened. They either didn't see it or refuse to acknowledge what happened. Hence, that's why they have black eyes. That's just my take on it. I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I find that to be common with the communications that I have with them.
Now, in all the stuff that I've read and videos, I've even watched videos about it, it seems like that whenever they show up, they try to get into your house for some reason.
So
I don't know
what?
about that.
Well,
No, Johnny's talking about actual. There's photographs of children actually have black eyes, and I don't mean raccoon because they got punched between the eyes, but for whatever reason they have an anomaly. The anomaly is they have no the white or they have no white. They have no it's one big huge pupil.
one big black eye, in
better
other
term.
words.
Well, both of them actually. Almost like Dracula.
Yeah.
No, jeez, go away.
In other words, they don't have
Johnny.
no whites to their eyes, no color to their eyes.
Right.
It's all just one big
Right.
black eye. And
Right.
Right, and a lot of societies shun them. I've got
Well, I mean,
no clue. I've not. I mean, it's not a matter of seeing is believing. It's well, look at it this way. When we heard of ghosts when we were growing up, they were all
bad.
negative stories. Negative stories. They're out to get you. They're
Right.
coming to get you, Barbara. You know?
Yeah.
You know. So who's to say what really is going on? I don't think there's enough. I don't know if we lost sound. Did we lose audio? Anybody?
If you saw that in actuality, though, would it not freak you out?
No, because I would be curious. Bear in mind.
What?
I'm saying the
Bear
average
in
Joe,
mind.
if you saw something like that, you would either think, it's
Well, I guess that's
alien or it's evil or, automatically, pretty much the common person would think something like that.
Well, then again, here's why we are paranormal. We don't think that way. There's an answer. Why is it this way? Doesn't always have to be negative.
This is
Well,
true.
Hank and Roger, it's no different as when I get in communication with soldiers that either have lost an eye during combat, especially Civil War, the Indian Wars. It's very common for a black spot to be there where the eye was.
Now,
Right.
So
we're
it's
talking.
not
We're
just-
talking what? We're talking seeing spirits and ghosts.
Right.
This we understand. Johnny's asking about actual children, living, breathing children.
Oh, living, breathing children? Oh, my gosh.
Affirmative.
Okay. Now, is this only seen in children?
I've seen it in adults.
Because you would have to think that if there were children like that, there would be an adult like that.
You know what is the reason of the anomaly? From a medical standpoint, that would be fascinating,
wouldn't it?
Does that?
Of course,
does
if
that
they
mean
ever
that they're
got one,
dark
they'd
or evil?
experiment on them until the cows come home.
Well, I'll tell you what, Johnny. Johnny's come on to something else here now. Black-eyed children and Men in Black. Men in Black. Welcome to the movie. MIB. Welcome to. I'm trying to think of the X-Files, and Mulder and
Scully
and all that, and Scully. MIB. Come on.
Now, the closest
They're not going to
thing,
always be in black. Come on. I mean, the CIA
closest
doesn't
thing,
work in
in my opinion, to that would be when, like during the Roswell deal, when the guy carried the stuff home and showed it to his wife and kid, and then, they took it to Edwards Air Force Base or what have you, and the guys showed up in the black suits and the sunglasses. I think they were like CIA or something like that. They weren't like your Men in Black that they talk about. Threatening them, telling them they can make them disappear, stuff like that.
Well, especially when it's a UFO encounter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That would be your Men in Black.
Now, there are the black helicopters when you're getting too close to Groom Lake.
And also the black helicopters are the ones that are seen wherever a UFO is spotted that is low and behold close to the ground. Before you know it, the black helicopters show up.
Well, the problem with that is we're touching into conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
That's the problem with that. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the problem. And I'm all for conspiracy theories. Oh God, I'm all for conspiracy theories. But the point that we're getting at here is we're paranormal investigators. We deal with facts.
Whether it be a UFO fact or a haunting fact or a Bigfoot fact or
a
whatever
Bigfoot fact, exactly. When you have the evidence, okay, regardless of how bizarre it may be, you've got the evidence. You can't. It's like math. You can't argue with the results.
You can't dispute what's right in front of your face.
Oh, and that's interesting.
And folks out there, if you're listening in, if you have a UFO, Bigfoot, paranormal experience or anything, call in, tell us about it. I'm sorry, Toby, didn't mean to cut you off, her.
Oh, that's sorry. They're called. Well, I just did some research, and what they're basically calling it is a paranormal phenomenon, and it's based off of an urban legend. But it's there. The bottom line is the reason for the black eyes is a very rare medical condition dealing with the eyes.
Okay, and that is entirely possible.
And that makes more sense to me.
Yes, it does.
I mean, yeah, could you consider it paranormal? Yeah.
Well, it's like I said, to the average person, seeing a child or an adult or anybody with eyes like that are immediately going to start thinking dark things, you know. Whether it be, like I said, they think they're alien or evil or what have you, you know, because they don't understand, they're not used to that, so you know they automatically react.
Or like it's like a child having to deal with any kind of any other kind of handicap. Okay.
Caller, you're on the air.
Hey, caller, how you doing?
I'm doing just fine. Hi, Hank. Me, Dita.
Hello, Miss Dita.
I'm going to change the subject, and then I'm going to let you guys discuss it, because I like just listening and reading what people are commenting about.
You like stirring the pepper pot.
Well, I can't read it. So.
Well, she just throws in the curveball.
I ought to just mail you a thing of my hot peppers. You would absolutely love them. Anyway,
okay.
Here's something that drove me absolutely insane. Well, I'm already halfway there, but anyway, right around the year 1999 and the year 2000, there was this rumble I heard all the time. It sounded like an engine pulsing, like a locomotive, like a train way in the distance, and it was just pulsing and pulsing, and it would stop for a bit. And I used to own a bookstore, and I would be in the store, and I'd be going, does anyone hear that? And people would stop and listen and go, no, I don't hear that. It would drive me crazy. I'd go to bed at night, and I would hear it, and I thought, okay, I'm ready for a vacation. So I jumped in my car, and I drove to Nevada to spend some time in Ely with a friend of mine. I'll be damned if I didn't still hear it there. And then I went down into Phoenix for a while, drove down there to spend a week with one of my brothers, and still heard it there. But when I'd come north into Ontario or Illinois, I didn't hear it at all. But it was the same deep rumble and pulsing rumble. Anyone else hear things like that?
Well, the only time I do is when the train comes through here.
I got a question for Dita. I got a question for her.
Okay, I'm going to have an answer for you, whether it's right or wrong. Go shoot.
Have you ever been transported from this planet onto a spaceship?
I don't know. I told my story last week about the UFO, and lost time. But, you know, one thing I had read about and that I'd studied is that people that were taken usually have a little scar or an implant somewhere. And yeah, I have searched my body, you know, and I...
what about the missing time?
Yeah, well, let me tell you, it was a spooky thing that happened, you know, but it wasn't spooky after it happened. Like I said, we all went back to playing cards, but... Toby, wait,
I got to stop you right there. How do you go from something like that to sitting back down and whose turn is it?
That's what I was saying, you know, why we sat down and just all of us played cards again, you know, okay, I'm trumping your ace, you know.
Yeah, right. Whose turn was it?
Yeah, it was the most bizarre thing.
Bingo.
And the fact... And the fact that we didn't talk about it. Why do you ask, Toby? Were you abducted?
No. But I have seen UFOs on several different occasions.
Yeah, so have I, especially in Colorado. They just seem to be everywhere there. And if you go out about any night and just stare up at the sky, you'll see satellites and whatnot, and the planes are a lot closer.
Right.
But when you watch something that you think is a star, and all of a sudden it's going from left to right and then north to south, and it's moving very erratically, it's not a satellite.
But then again, my question was, did you notice any missing time?
Yeah. There was about 2 hours of missing time.
Okay, see, that's a lot of time.
Yeah,
now,
it sure is.
Another question that I got to ask is did any of you notice that a watch had stopped at a certain time?
It's funny. No, I can't say. I can't say for sure because it's not something we really thought about, because when we came back, it was just like everything back to normal, just continue, with what we were doing.
Right, in which most people,
most people would notice.
they wind up back where they were.
We were. We got out.
But they also noticed that their watch had stopped at such and such time, and it would be like 2 or 3 hours later.
Yeah, but the thing is, if my watch had stopped, and because I felt that it was just a normal thing, we're back, let's playing cards. If I noticed my watch was off time, I'd go, I must be ready for a new battery, and I would dismiss it, and I would be willing
you would think about it.
Yeah, because I think in the back of our minds we were told, it's just nothing, just let it be. And we did. And like I said, and if I hadn't have thought about it 10 years later and brought it up with my brother and my sister, we probably still wouldn't have mentioned it. And I'm glad I did mention it to my brother when I did, because he died just a few years after that.
Well, now, see, you got to wonder, too, if abductions are real, and I can't say they are, because as far as I know, I've never been abducted or seen anybody that has.
Mm-hmm.
But
I say the same thing.
But
because I don't know.
If they have the intelligence to implant stuff in a person's body,
mm-hmm.
or to zap them up into their spaceship or whatever, then they would also have the tools and intelligence to erase that from your memory.
Correct, or block it.
Block it, right, and it comes back like under hypnosis a lot of times when people, would relive what happened, or it may come back slowly over so many years, or,
Yeah, just the fact that, the event I remembered. But to this day, I couldn't tell you if I was abducted or if what I saw, if I was. There's nothing there,
Right.
Let's not dwell on the fact of Colorado, Rocky Mountain High. Okay.
Hank, I knew it.
The Eric Cartman syndrome.
I have to tell you.
Okay, I'm going to hang up, and you guys continue. I love the show.
Are we discussing that there's nothing there, or are we discussing that there's...
Yeah, I have this void between my ears. Okay, I love you guys. You guys continue. I'm going to continue listening.
Great. Call in anytime.
Sure enough. Bye.
Oh, it's good to hear you, hon. Look, let's put aside Colorado, Rocky Mountain High. Okay, I lived in Colorado, and my family had a
sunshine on her shoulder.
15 acres. Yes, yeah, she did. Dad, my mom had sunshine on her shoulders too, but that's beside the point. Okay. We had a farm. Well, it really wasn't a farm. It was 15 acres outside in Rush, which was like about 45 miles.
You had an
east
old
of Colorado Springs. Huh?
I said, and you had an old fiddle?
Yeah, that's what I thought. No,
well,
I didn't.
I thought we were doing John Denver songs, so.
Go away. Hey, I hear your mother calling. Go get arrested.
Well, if my mother's calling, she's calling
anyway.
A long way off.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. But anyway, moving along. Out there, I mean, I let my niece my telescope, and she said she couldn't handle the moon being so bright because we were so far away from lights and things. My brother and I were out, and there was this orange light, and we checked. It wasn't stars. We got binoculars out at the time. We had binoculars, and there were no the telltale flashing lights. Okay, and it just took its time crossing what would appear to be like 100 miles. I mean, from distance, going from one end from the horizon to where we were watching, where we finished watching it, and it's like, boom, gone. It didn't. I mean, this area of Colorado, yes, it was high plains, no cracks, but there were no mountains for this light to just disappear. Now that is the closest I will come to saying UFO. But I don't have to worry about losing time. I mean, being paranormal, we get into dreams that are interdimensional anyway. What can you say? High Plains Drifter. Oh, thank you, Johnny. Oh.
I at least can say that, you and a couple other people have mentioned the orange glowing balls in the sky, because that's what I had seen that time on. There was like 5 of them in a row, and they were just sitting there, and then they shot off like 2 seconds, they were gone.
Yeah, well, you like red dresses too, but
Hey, nobody still ain't debunked the red dress yet, so I'm still waiting.
I don't know. Everyone I've seen has always been orange, red, and then some sort of like an off green. It's not a pale green. It's not a true green. It's almost like a neon green, but in between a green and neon green.
Now, I saw one time, I was sitting in my backyard. We lived out in the country, little bitty town, but we lived out in the country anyway. But I was sitting out in the backyard late one night, and I was just looking up at the stars. And all of a sudden, one of those stars had these different colored lights that were rotating like around. Like I think there was like a yellow, a green, a blue. Mm-hmm. And they were just like going around. And, like it would, if you were looking at it, and each one of them would change color. But it wasn't just one, it was like they were all going around this thing. And it was kind of moving like a slow motion, but it had to be moving a lot faster than my mind was participating that it was moving.
Well, what? Okay, let's break. Let's just kind of cut to the chase here. Okay, yeah, a person reports it. Okay.
Oh, I didn't report it.
Well, no, you know what I'm saying. I mean, the typical person would probably report it, and they would dismiss it as either a military craft.
Right.
One, okay, I'm former military. 2, I have never seen a military aircraft anything close to what I have seen in my life do as far as movement. And we didn't have the technology then.
Well,
we're even near it.
Your aircraft don't have rotating lights on it like that.
Right.
You'll have one on the tail, one on the wing or something,
And
right, and they pulsate.
The strobes.
Right.
Yeah. But now these were going like they were going around it. And like I said, it was like a yellow, a green, a blue. And they were just like going around and around this thing. And
well, I haven't. I refuse to go up to the elevation to where I saw had my encounters. I have not been up there since my 5th encounter. I refuse to go up into that elevation, up into that neck of the mountains here in Washington. I will get close to it, but I will go no further.
Okay, I gotta jump in here and give the call letters real quick. We're live on WCJV Digital Broadcasting out of Youngstown, New York, folks. Let's get back at this thing. Yeah, I mean, and like I said, this thing looked like, in my mind, it was like in slow motion. It was like just, just drifting along there. And
along with the tumbling tumbleweeds. Oh.
But it was at a distance to where you couldn't really tell the shape of it, but you could see the lights going around in a circle. And
you mean like the Jupiter 1?
Like the Jupiter
Swiss Family
1.
Robinson?
Oh.
The Lost Space? Come on.
Anyway.
Okay, now
it was just,
go
ahead.
Two. Oh, okay, Johnny.
Oh, what I was going to say is, now, I don't know if you've heard it or taken a listen to it, but NASA here recently released all the sounds of the planets.
Awesome.
Yes, it is awesome. Earth is the only one that's got two. It's got two noises to it. That is it. One is
the
very peaceful.
Sound?
Yeah, well, I don't know if you want to call it natural or if you want to call it a unnatural. But
never mind. You're blowing my joke. Go ahead.
Johnny. Uranus does sound like a big part, but Saturn is the most creepiest sound out of all the planets. I mean, you swear to God, you're about there goes my dogs. Start of a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
And it's great to give a listen to. I can't remember the website. Maybe Nick might be able to.
It is. I'll have to go back and look it up. What?
I think it's like 5 minutes worth of sounds. And they take a pause in between each sounds and they pop out the planets. But I just thought I'd throw that in there because I think that's pretty interesting. To kind of give a spin or kind of a gander at. Because then you sit there and say, well, wait a second here. That reminds me of this. That reminds me of that. And a lot of it, to believe it or not to me, reminds me of paranormal shows.
Now, wasn't this from the last thing that the Explorer? No, not Explorer. Voyager.
Voyager.
Yeah. Voyager.
Yeah, it only took them 4 years to piece it all together, but yeah.
Now,
NASA Space Sounds YouTube. Let me go ahead and see if I can post that for us.
It's a magnetic sound, Johnny. Magnetic to the human ear does not have sound, but when you put up a high scope microphone up between two magnets, there is a sound.
I have to apologize, Johnny, the rest of you guys. Normally I'd be commenting and posting in there, but I don't seem to have a chat room tonight, so.
We understand.
Yeah, that's definitely, you got, oh, man.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to save that.
So I can't see all the lovely questions they're asking in there, dadgummit.
Don't worry, we'll pass it on.
Yeah, we'll keep you filled in.
Maybe.
We had an interesting day here. I kind of filled Hank in briefly on it. My mother-in-law was here watching the house for a while. And she went into the bathroom. And as she was coming out, she heard a child, like, laughing in my living room. Now, she's the only one in the house. And she couldn't figure out. So she was like going, who's here? Who's here? Well, she went from the bathroom into the hallway and asked that question, and then came into the living room. She heard it again. We get home. She tells me, I really don't know what the hell you guys got going on here, but I heard a child laughing at me. And I was like, what do you mean? She goes, it was a child laughing at me. And mother half goes, oh, you probably ran into Toby's guide, Kernesha. And my mother-in-law said, I don't think I'm going to go into your bathroom again. Yeah, she kind of freaked out on it a little bit, and not much, but she was trying to figure it out, where it's coming from and who it was, and when we walked in the door, she goes, my little girl was active today. And I was like, yeah, that's probably true, because she wasn't with me.
Okay, folks, listening in out there, if you have any experiences, you can call in and tell us about it.
In fact, we enjoy it.
We're
here to believe you.
We're ready to believe you. Who you going to call? Hank Stratton.
Roger and me.
There you go.
Hank Stratton, what's your problem there, dude?
We're a team. We're a team. Barry, you
That's right. There's no I in team.
Yeah, it is. It's in the...
So Roger really didn't give me an explanation on the thermal cams. I never understood that. Since when do spirits put off heat?
Only on ghost hunters.
I understand. I understand measuring.
Hey, do you think we could take this act on the road?
They do on ghost hunters. Now, I would assume that it would be a blue or a colder, darker color.
Thank you. Yes.
Because, like we say, when a spirit's trying to manifest, it creates a cold spot. It's drawing the energy out of the air. Therefore, that section of the air is going to be colder than the air around it. So if you saw a image of a spirit on a thermal camera, you would think that it would be in the darker region.
Since it would be cooler than the ambient atmosphere.
Yes.
Okay. It would create an image. We'll call it an image.
In the blue or whiter area.
No,
instead of the yellow or red area. You know what I'm talking about, the dark and lighter blue area. Not necessarily white, but instead of the yellow or reddish area, which would be the heat signature.
Dita's asking if we use thermal cams. Let me put it this way. Even a good used one is like about $3,000.
Right. $3,000 to $5,000 for a good used one.
Don't think so, hon. However,
now, Dita, if you want to buy us
thermal...
one, I would be happy to use it.
Now, why do we need a thermal cam when Toby is a psychic medium, I am an empath, and Roger, you have psychics on your team. Roger, you're psychic too.
I sense them. I don't see them.
Let my checkbook in my other pants.
I do feel them. And I don't mention this to my partner because he probably wouldn't believe me anyway. Now, the reason I say this is because it's not necessarily the Christian way. Anyway.
Okay. Okay,
But-
hold on. In all honesty, it's part of the universe that was created by the divine.
Exactly.
So what would be the purpose of it?
What would be the thermal cam?
Yeah.
For those people who do not have any kind of ability to sense them on their own or whatever.
There you go. There you go. Because we don't need them. There are those that
Who
have
do.
to go into the heavy-duty electronics to
Exactly.
do what we do.
Now, why would you spend $3,000 to $5,000 for a good used piece of equipment that you don't need?
I know what else
Well-
I could spend them $3,000 on.
So do I. Bills.
Well, yeah, outside of those, I could take a little trip to Washington and we could go do some investigating.
Right?
Speaking of which,
Well,
we've got
okay.
some interesting
Yeah.
training sessions coming up.
You got a who?
We have some interesting training sessions coming up.
Yes, we do.
We do.
Now,
Yes,
see,
we do.
I'd love to be around and check that out. But anyway.
There's plenty of room up here in Washington for you, bro.
But that is a very good point, though. Why would somebody spend that kind of money on a piece of equipment that they don't really need? But there are those out there who do not have that same ability. So
When you start getting into all of this heavy-duty money equipment, okay?
can you get by without it? Yes.
Yeah, you can get by without it. I mean, okay, a lot of people, they talk about, oh, I need a millimeter. I need a millimeter. Well, yes,
For
a millimeter is nice. But let me explain this, okay? What have we been talking about? The same reason people buy designer jeans. Good one, Johnny. Let me explain this, okay? You're going into a house. People are explaining about headaches and feeling fear in a certain area of the house.
Right.
Okay.
Out
Now,
or whatever.
I have in my bag of toys, I have a cell sensor. No, it is not as expensive or as sensitive as a millimeter. Okay. And it doesn't measure the temperature. All it does is when that needle gets pegged, yeah, we have a high EMF.
No doubt.
Okay. So something like that makes sense. You're showing someone scientific fact that they can put their hands on and they can look at that meter. Okay.
Now, and also in the same aspect, if you do your base readings and you don't have anything where that needle is moving, and then you're in that area and that needle starts moving, you can show them that there is something in that room.
Now, here's something that's interesting. Now, my buddy Ron, when he was with us here in Washington, he had on his phone a what is that gimmick? It's a ghost sensor.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Now we had that. Now we took some reporters out there to the Ording Cemetery, and the photographer was with Ed and Ron, and I had the photographer. No, he was the photographer. She was the editor. I had to get these two people straight, okay? And Ron gave her the phone with the ghost sensor functioning. And I couldn't see her. She was behind me, and I intended for that to be happening for a double-blind test. What are those beep tones in there? Anyway, this was a double-blind test. It's like, okay, We are amongst company. That would be the code word. The code phrase. We're amongst company, or we're not alone. When I would start feeling something, and she would tell me the coins jingling. Oh, okay. She would tell me the sensor is showing 1 or 2. It would have these little colored dots that would come in to the sensor. All right, or would show up on the sensor, or they would fade out, or they would come in, or they would fade in and come out.
Now, did they
And there
change
was
the
one
color
point-
when they were supposed to be close to you?
No. Something to do with the energy signature itself. Okay, and when I said, "Okay, we have something going on here," and she said, "There's nothing on the sensor," we found out that there was an energy vortex right where I was at that time. Yeah, I'm hearing that odd white noise too. Like someone going back and forth in their chair with springs. Are you rocking in your chair, Roger?
I could have.
Okay. Anyway,
it's real easy to move this thing.
Oh, your dog's jingling his chain or his
Collar, tag.
Collar, yeah, tags on his collar. But anyway. And yet we would be sitting here in the house, and he'd play with it, and it's like, now I know my house is clear. And yet you got visitors. And it's like, and I'm psychically searching, and it's like, no, I don't. Well, right here, you got to take it for what it's worth. All right. Sometimes these things work, sometimes they don't. I don't need them, which is the whole point that Toby and I would be getting at.
I don't have a lot of faith in the phone apps.
Yay, team.
Oh.
Now, Echo Box, which is not like those things where stuff appears and disappears and blah, blah, blah. It's kind of based on kind of like the Spirit Box. It uses phonetic things to, at a certain speed or whatever, and you're supposed to be able to pick out stuff that's going on, but that would be the only thing close to anything that I would halfway even put a little faith in as far as phone apps go.
Now, Toby, your phone is your Samsung is different.
Yeah,
it's a heck of a lot better quality.
As far as
well, you were getting ready to disagree or something there, and I thought I'd jump in there on you on that.
Oh, no. What I was going to say is, Roger brought up a good point. The phone apps.
Yeah.
Okay. You know as well as anybody else, I've been trying the night vision apps.
Yeah.
And now I've got an issue with the night vision apps. Okay. I've tried one that I bought. I canceled that one. It was worthless. I downloaded free ones. The free ones were better than the ones I bought. However, they don't pick up what we are looking for because it's a light that night vision app cannot pick up. So really and truly, it's kind of in my opinion, it's kind of a downfall, but it's a good tool.
It can help you see in the dark, but to do what we do, it'll keep you from stepping on that rake with the tongs up,
or stepping on
in the yard. There are a lot of good tools out there, but You don't need to spend buku bucks. Oh God, am I dating myself? Yeah, okay.
Now,
We have a 4-camera DVR system that we use. And I have a couple of Sony night shot cameras that I use and my still shot camera. Analog recorder and a couple of digital recorders. And that is my toolkit. I don't need all this other fancy stuff. I can do the same thing with what I know in my head and what I can do with those.
What you know in your head and heart.
Exactly.
Roger's going to freak out when he hears what I got for tools. All I have is a 16 megabyte Polaroid camera, digital camera, silly point and shoot, which is a very kind of a grainy picture, and then I got my recorder. That's it, and I'm lucky if I even use half of them. I have to run off of Hank. I have to run off of other team members that have the tools that will provide me confirmation that they're either A, standing right in front of me, or standing right next to me, or wherever else. Or I will point them out right to them, and like Ed and his rods. He will start with the rods wide open, and I'll point to an area and say, hey, go like 25 feet in front of me and see if they cross. Sure enough, they cross. And that's just validation for me.
Let me get a hold of something here. Johnny's asked about why would Radio Shack stop, right? Why would Radio Shack stop making radios that can be hacked? Okay. Johnny, let me explain it this way. It was an interesting gimmick, and it showed how you could work with, it was a big money maker. It showed how to do the hack so that it would skip through the stations and produce the white noise, which supposedly, and I have mixed reviews on this because I have a Radio Shack hack, okay? And I've used it from time to time. On occasion, we will get a name, phrase, words that correspond with what we're trying to talk about. But we also get a lot, as it's doing the scan, we get a lot of the radio call signs and music. It scans through them, but yet at the same time, I have to question the results. Now, and like I said, I have one in my little bag of toys. I also have a laser grid, a pretty nice, pretty green little laser grid that the cats and the dog loves chasing. But we use that for seeing if anything is coming through that we can catch on video. Yes, a lot of people are buying them, but then again, let's put it this way. You hear all the popular ideas and toys, Johnny. And, oh, yeah, I want to do that. I want to be like these guys. Yeah. And you go out and you spend the money. I only paid like, $5 for mine? Because I bought it on eBay. Was it eBay or Amazon? I don't remember, but it was one of those two. And I won't say I wasted the money, but I mean, $5. Yeah. Well, all right, $7.99. Yes, it was solid state. Oh, you're talking to Johnny. I'm sorry about that, Toby.
Oh no.
Anyway, I have like I said, I got the laser grid. I've got the I've got my cell sensor, which is a poor man's EMF detector or Mel meter. I have my video camera, I have my now I'm not touching that right now, Johnny. Hold on. I have my two cameras. I have my old Kodak 7 megapixel, and I have my my Polaroid 16 megapixel. But what do I use the most? My EMF, my EFP recorder, and my camera. Because that's all I need. If I get heavy into the tech, and I don't know if Toby feels this way, or if there are any other sensitive psychics out there, the more you get into the tech, the more you start depending on tools rather than your own abilities. Anybody? Cricket chirp? Cricket chirp?
Well, I don't know if you saw the chat room. I said, the difference between like the solid state and the vacuum tubes. I didn't make the full statement. I was about ready to. The solid state, okay, being a former amateur radio operator and working both with the vacuum tubed old style ham radios and then going into the solid state radios, I noticed the solid state radio, I don't know if you agree with me on this, Hank, but the solid state tends to generate its own noise, while the vacuum tube has a certain tone. It's going to stay at that tone. Anything around it, it's going to pick it up. Because the vacuum tube it's a free-running open system, unlike a solid state where it's a closed system. And as far as like using tools, for you and I, that would be losing touch of our abilities.
Right.
That'd be thrown in the garbage can.
Now, for those that don't have or are not used to using their psychic abilities, like the EM pumps, just let them sit out there, with their little glowing lights and the antenna that comes up. That's great for someone who is not used to seeing or sensing spirits. But then again, now you're starting to get into money. Though, I mean, the cheapest one I found for that was like $185. Unless you make one yourself. But even then, that's not necessarily that cheap either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we really got off. Yeah, we could really do a whole show on tools and how to use them and when not to use them.
Hey, not to change the topic, but I don't know if you and Roger caught this, but I posted the 4 photos or the other 3 photos after that one bizarre photo that we talked about the other night.
Oh, your galloping Gertie of orbs?
Well, yeah, if you want to call it orbs, or if you want to call it the single one that goes from this. Well, I like some of the comments
by your
I've seen
fence.
on it.
By your
well,
fence.
No, the one up in the sky.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, Roger and somebody else were making comments like there were horns, wings, and everything else. And
shame on you, Roger.
Well, no, I started seeing what he was saying, and I do have to agree.
Yeah, Dita didn't say anything like that when I sent it to her. She's so sweet anyway. She's gonna reach out and hit me for that one. I know that. Yeah. Boing!
Yeah. But I posted it on my Google Plus, along with some other interesting photos I would love to bring up one photo, and I mean, I shared it publicly, so if anybody, I mean, I don't know how to share the link to the site, but
Put it on your. Give your Facebook link, or get
Well, no,
what am I saying?
It's on Gmail.
I'll put our Facebook link on. Oh, on the Gmail Plus. Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it's you've seen the picture. It's one of the old City Hall basement, and the side profile of the individual in the basement.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah, that one.
I want Roger's take on that if you've ever seen it.
Roger? Hello? Oh, come on. We don't want any cricket chirpings here. Come on.
I think Roger.
Wait, hold on.
I think he fell asleep.
Let me look at something. No, he's still connected. Unless he lost his mic.
I'm sorry. Oh. Y'all are... I'm here.
I am not touching that.
Okay. Anyway, I was saying we're at the 2-hour mark. We're going to go ahead and shut this thing down. Hank, if you would post our links up because I can't see.
All right, hold on. I'm working on links. Hold everything. Hemlock Holmes to Dick Tracy. Come on. All right. Well, first off,
did I post that in the chat room?
That's what I'm looking to see if I can. I'm having to do all kinds of hoop-de-doos and Toby, post your page for me, would you, bud?
I did. I posted in the.
Send that picture to my email, bud, so I can look at it.
Shoot. Okay, Dita says she can't get to it because she can't copy anything from the text box.
And Roger's Facebook.
Okay, folks, we're going to shut it down. Thanks, everybody, for calling in, listening in. We will be back next week, all open mic, folks. And
all open mic, guys. Yep.
Everybody has a paranormal or strange experience. Please call in, tell us about it. We want to know.
Other than with us.
The show will start an hour earlier next week, everybody. Instead of being at 9 Eastern, it will be at 8 Eastern.
Good point.
And if you can't be normal,
be paranormal.
Thank you and good night.